things that are not authentic in a horror film because you obviously don't have ghosts. If it won't surpass Raaz 3, there's no point doing another film. All actors are generally in our film industry are so narcissistic. It becomes all about me, myself and I.
Since you talked about Bipasha part, that when the posters and the hoarding, they're having like say Bipasha in a full-blown thing and you are there somewhere there in the background. Do you think from that perspective कि यार I am the star, मतलब public मेरे वजह से बहुत हद तक आने वाली है?
Well, I mean, see, the thing is, I think it was equally balanced out because there was there was the whole thing of black magic being a central theme in the film. So they were, I think, in equally balanced out posters and looks for the film. So I think they had a very well thought out promotional campaign, which you can't argue with, which has succeeded. So, I mean, for whatever, make the film work.
Emraan, as I said earlier, that you have a very intelligent way of thinking, especially when we see your interviews, when we do interviews with you, you have a certain point of view and which is different. You don't want to be compared with any of the Khans and you want to have your own identity, which is very commendable. But at the same time, I think I read one of your interviews, you've said that you want to just balance all sorts of cinema. And at times, you yourself don't know as to what sort of films you want to do because it depends on the script that comes to you. You know, when it comes to like a movie like Raaz 3, you know, it's as filmy as it gets.
Yeah.
आपने भगवान की आपने वो भी निकाल लिया गणपति का and you know, मतलब I'm sure that single screens and all उसके ऊपर खूब तालियां बजने वाली हैं.
You don't hear anything for like 2 minutes when that's
happening. Absolutely. You know, that has a moment to it. तो कितने conviction से you have to do something of that sort. Which is something which is like as bizarre as it gets.
Yes, the whole idea of doing a horror film is doing the most unconvincing thing in a very convincing way. For me, as an actor, apart from essaying a director's role, it's to make things that are not authentic in a horror film because you obviously don't have ghosts. You have to make it believable through your eyes. The way I look at the ghosts in the film is seen through the audience's point of view. If I'm going to freak out in a way that's going to look funny, then the audience won't see what is on the screen as being convincing. So they see it through my eyes. So if I give it a certain amount of authenticity, the audience will believe it. If I don't believe it in myself, the audience will not believe it. So you got to see a ghost as being, I don't know, probably something that you fear the most in your life, and you've actually seen a ghost.
Sure. Now it's being said that the film may enter the 100 crore club and all as well because for a film to sustain and do well in the longer run, you require the single screens and this is a perfect recipe for single screens for that matter. So we really hope that it happens. But at the same time, now you've had some of the biggest hits with the Bhatts and right now you're not having any film with the Bhatts, and in the last interview you said that you've been begging for a good script from Bhatts. So post release of Raaz 3 and any new developments now?
We've been actually toying a lot of scripts. The thing is that with films that have got this kind of endorsement from the audience, you have to be, you know, really sure about what you're making next. You can't just kind of get into something for the sake of it. I think it's good that we're taking our time. Eventually we'll see probably in the next couple of months when we have a great subject to tell and up the quotient. If it won't surpass Raaz 3, there's no point doing another film. So we're only waiting for that script and for that announcement of that film, and that's when we'll announce the film.
In fact, you know, I must tell you that we tend to interview many people, but I think the best part about just talking to you is that you're least bothered about कि आपकी film hit हुई, flop हुई. You're happy. कौन मेरी जब वो कर रहा है? In fact, आप ही को लोग चाहते हैं कि आपका role थोड़ा बढ़ जाए, जो भी है. We've had all these controversies in Shanghai recently. So I think that attitude is perfect. And I think, as you're right, that should continue.
All actors are generally in our film industry are so narcissistic, and they're so bothered about how many lines they have and how many scenes they have in a film. And no one gives a damn about the story. There are very few actors who do. It becomes all about me, myself and I. And then it's all about them, and then the film seems that way. I think for me, as an actor, I want the story to be right first. Like for some people were asking me a question that how can you let some scenes, how can you let Bipasha's character overshadow you? I think he's a meek, timid director. If you're not going to have the woman who dominates him overshadow him in a few scenes, how will he become a hero in the second half? So it's not some personal agenda I'm trying to fulfill, some personal conflict on screen. I've been given a character and I have to play it that way. So even a Shanghai's character was so meek and timid, I had to play it that way.
प्यार करता हूं उससे और प्यार करता रहूंगा.
You freaking loser!
If I suddenly start playing it the hero, the traditional hero, then the whole story falls flat and your character doesn't work.
At any point of time, have you spoken to Bhatts saab that you make me do all sorts of films, but why don't you make me do films like Hame Rahi Pyar Ke or like Dil Hai Ki Manta Nahi and Aashiqui or something of that sort?
Because I don't think Bhatts wants to make films that anymore. I don't
Like
think.
that?
Yeah.
Aashiqui too he's doing.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Comedy. I don't know. I don't know if they will make. I would love to be part of a comedy.
You are doing
I'm doing
Hanchakar.
Hanchakar, which is a comedy. Probably his perception of me will change on screen and feel that there's a huge connect once Hanchakar works. Sometimes you need other people to kind of set the benchmark, and then everyone wakes up to the fact, oh, this works too. You know, for that matter, even the industry thought I would probably only work in erotic thrillers till Milan Luthria made Once Upon a Time in Mumbai. So probably Bhatts will wake up once Hanchakar works in a big way, and he'll make a comedy with me.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Emraan. Lovely to have you.
Thank you.
And we really hope that Raaz 3 continues to do big numbers at the box office. Ultimately, that's what
Yes.
I think matters
Fingers
in the
crossed,
final thing as well. And looking forward to all your ventures.
Thank you.
And we hope that you continue remaining the same because I think that's very important.
Thank you.
That's all we're from Bollywood Hungama. Keep on watching.